In radio, long wave refers to parts of the radio spectrum with relatively long wavelengths. The term is a historic one dating from the early 20th century, when the radio spectrum was considered to consist of long, medium and short wavelengths. Most modern radio systems and devices use wavelengths which would then have been considered ultra-short. In contemporary usage, the term long wave is not defined precisely and its meaning varies across the world. Most commonly it refers to radio wavelengths longer than 1,000 meters, including the ITU's low-frequency and very low-frequency bands. Sometimes part of the medium-frequency band is included. In Europe, Africa and large parts of Asia, where a range of frequencies between 148.5 and 283.5 kHz is used for AM broadcasting, the term long wave usually refers specifically to this broadcasting band. The Region 1 long-wave broadcast band falls wholly within the low-frequency band of the radio spectrum. Broader definitions of long wave may extend below and or above it. In the U.S., the Long Wave Club of America is interested in frequencies below the AM broadcast band, that is, all frequencies below 535 kHz. Non-broadcast use equals non-directional beacons equals. Non-directional beacons transmit continuously for the benefit of radio direction finders in marine and aeronautical navigation. They identify themselves by a call sign in Morse code. They can occupy any frequency in the range 190–1750 kHz. In North America they occupy 190–535 kHz. In ITU Region 1 the lower limit is 280 kHz. Times signals equals, there are stations in the range 40–80 kHz that transmit times signals to radio clocks. For example, WWVB in Colorado on 60 kHz. DCF 77 in Frankfurt am Main, Germany on 77.5 kHz. JJY in Japan on 40 and 60 kHz, 66.66 kHz in Taldum transmitter, Russia. BPC in Lintong, China 68.5 kHz. MSF Taiwan 60 kHz frequency standard transmitted from Anthorn in the UK. Radio-controlled clocks receive their time calibration signal with built-in long-wave receivers. They use long-wave, rather than short-wave or medium-wave, because the accuracy of the clocks is not affected by changes in the time signals travel from the transmitter to the ionosphere and to the receiver. As long-wave travels by ground wave, rather than skywave, the propagation time does not vary. Military communication equals, the United Kingdom, Russian Federation, United States, Germany, and Sweden use frequencies below 50 kHz to communicate with their submarines. Low for equals, in North America during the 1970s the frequencies 167, 179 and 191 kHz were assigned to the short-lived public emergency radio of the United States. Nowadays 136 kHz and the 160–190 kHz range is used in the United States for Part 15 low for amateur and experimental stations, and the 190–435 kHz band is used for navigational beacons. Historic equals, Swedish station SAQ, located at the Varberg radio station facility in Grimeton, is the last remaining operational Alexanderson alternator transmitter. Although the station ended regular service in 1996, it has been maintained as a World Heritage Site and makes at least 2 demonstration transmissions yearly, on 17.2 kHz. Broadcasting, long wave is used for broadcasting only within ITU Region 1. The long-wave broadcasters are located in West, North, Central and Southeast Europe, the former Soviet Union, Mongolia, Algeria and Morocco. Typically, a larger area can be covered by a long-wave broadcast transmitter than a medium-wave one. This is because ground wave propagation suffers less attenuation due to limited ground conductivity at lower frequencies. Carrier frequencies equals, carrier frequencies are exact multiples of 9 kHz ranging from 153 to 279 kHz, except for a French-language station Europe No. 1 in Germany. This station did keep to correctly spaced channel spacing for 4 months, only 7 years ago, and all Mongolian transmitters are spaced at 10 kHz. Until the 1970s, some long-wave stations in Northern and Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union operated on frequencies as high as 433 kHz. Some stations, for instance Droitwich in the UK, derive their carrier frequencies from an atomic clock. They can be therefore used as frequency standards. Droitwich also broadcasts a low bit rate data channel, using narrow shift phase shift keying of the carrier, for radio teleswitch services. In January 2014 Russia closed all of its LW broadcast transmitters except for one in Caucasus, which was shut down in 2015. Long distance reception because long-wave signals can travel very long distances, some radio amateurs and shortwave listeners engage in an activity called DXING. DXers attempt to listen into faraway transmissions, and they often will send a reception report to the sending station to let them know where they were heard. After receiving a report, the sending station may mail the listener a QSL card to acknowledge this reception. The longest distance over which a long-wave broadcast has been received is 10,275 kilometers. It occurred on July 26, 2015, when Daniel Aliens of Nova Xavantina, Mato Grosso, Brazil, received radio antenna satellite on 153 kHz from Brașov, Romania. In months prior, Daniel was also able to receive Europe 1 on 183 kHz from France and Radio Midi 1 in Morocco on 171 kHz. List of long-wave broadcasting transmitters List of stations currently operating. List of stations that have closed or are otherwise inactive. See also, low frequency, for other uses of this part of the radio spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum, very low frequency, shortwave, ground wave, skywave, medium wave, radio broadcasting, AM broadcasting, BBC Radio 4, BBC Light Programme, Radio Clock, Office de Radiodiffusion tar copyright La Copyright Vision Frena Sectiones, Warsaw Radio Mast, Digital Radio Mondiale, International Broadcasting, Shipping, Global Navigation Satellite System, Navigation, Shipping Forecast, Lists, Index of Wave Articles, Other, 1 km, National Institute of Standards and Technology, Failsafe, WGU20. Notes and references. External links, to Mislav Stimac, Definition of Frequency Bands. IK1QFK homepage. The Medium Wave Circle, the premier club for MWLW enthusiasts, Medium Wave News, published regularly since 1954 Euro-African Medium Wave Guide, Long Wave Club of America, How to Receive DRM from Kalundborg Long Wave Station, Reception of Long Wave and Very Long Wave with Ferrite Antennas 5 to 50 kHz, Clavita, G. Uxner, M. Herold, K8.2 Langwell in Rundfunk. Langwell und la Currency NGSTWELLE. Meckenheim, C. Bell Verlag GmbH pages 116 a €131. ISBN 3-89632-043-2. Busch, Heinrich. Luftschiff Graf Zeppelin LZ-127. European and Asian long-wave stations, medium wave radio, list of long and medium wave transmitters with Google Map links to transmission sites.